You'd think I would have learned in Thailand to not wear this particular matte red lipstick when it's hot outside, and I'm prone to sweating because it runs, even Fenty runs sometimes. Um, I have a migraine, and I was gonna try and do something really quick, and it has since morphed into something a little more involved. And so what I've got is some jasmine rice on the stove. I'm gonna do I have some roasted vegetables already from the other day that I need to go ahead and use, including eggplant, some mushroom, which I just realized I cut my mushroom, but mushroom, cauliflower, zucchini. I have some shrimp and some shrimp. Ooh. I just threw in some sesame oil. I'm gonna salt it, put a little bit of Chinese five spice and a little bit of cornstarch, and then I'm gonna pan fry that. And I'm gonna do some red cabbage with these, with the orange peppers, and then mix it all together. I'm debating whether I'm gonna do some dumplings. I have some frozen dumplings in the freezer, but that's like one extra step, and I don't wanna. So I think I should get myself my answer. I know this is backwards, and I think I've shown people this before, but this is Chinese five spice. I don't know quite how to describe its flavor. Let's see, and let's see what's actually in it. And what are the five spices? So it's got cinnamon, star anise, fennel, ginger, cloves, white pepper, and licorice root. And it's interesting because I don't really like licorice, so both the anise and the licorice root, licoricey, but something about the way it all comes together, if you don't use too much of it, it's actually kind of lovely. I actually have some fresh ginger over there, so I might add that to the mix along with a little bit of garlic for when I saute the mushrooms. This ginger's a little aged, and so it's a little wrinkly. If it was like fresh nubile ginger, then I would actually peel this with the back of a spoon. You can kind of scrape it off. Some people, depending on how thinly you slice this, don't necessarily even peel ginger. And depending on my mood, like again, if this was not quite as seasoned as it is, I might leave it on. But in its current condition, I'm going to try and get most of it off. I'm going to dice it small, and as I am, like I said, sauteing with the garlic and the mushrooms, then and a little bit of sesame oil, trying to pull it all together and see what kind of numminess. I do love fresh ginger, it's beautiful. So these are cooking faster than I anticipated. They're already starting to turn pink. So I'm flipping them. This is just really a basic sear. I added a little bit of, excuse me, cornstarch, just to crisp a little bit. So it's not going to be crispy by any stretch, but gives it a little bit of like that little caramel here you see. Basically, I'm going to turn this off and let the residual heat from the cast iron continue to cook that, and then I'm going to pop that off. And then I'm going to do one last thing in terms of mixing together. Oh, that's very close. One last thing in terms of mixing together. A little dressing for the top. So I'm just going to do some sesame oil, a little bit of rice vinegar, a little bit of mirin, which is sweet. It's like a Japanese wine, but really sweet. And then a little soy sauce. And that just to drizzle over like the fresh parts of this, and then mix it all together. And I'll assemble and show you the finished product. I assembled this, which is a little bit of mirin, a little bit of sesame oil, some soy sauce, a couple of pepper flakes, and then mix that together. And I'm going to put it on top of this salad of sorts, and then the salad will be the topping over like rice, the stir-fried vegetables, and the shrimp. And then this is just something like as a contrast. So everything else is warm, this is cool, this is crunchy, everything else is a little softer and yielding because it's been cooked down. And I always really love the contrast. It's one of the things I love about Korean food specifically. You get, you know, if you do banchan, which are the little dishes that come with a lot of Korean food, you'll get like kimchi, which has a crunch to it from the fermented cabbage, but it's also got like a little bit of sour because it's fermented cabbage. And then you'll get fish cake, which is yielding and soft. You'll get some japchae, which is really silky. It's like the noodles, and it's really silky and smooth. And I love that. And you get similar kind of diversity of plate if you get to do family style for an Indian meal or a South Asian meal, or if you do a thali plate, and when you get papadum, which is crunchy, and then you get raita, which is cool, and you might get a curry that has like big pieces of vegetables in it, and then you get like a dal, which is like the smoother lentils, and so all of that comes together, and I like that. It's a thing that I super enjoy, and so I'm about to assemble all of this. One thing I will say is I need to do research, and when I do, I'll come back and let you know a little bit more about how to choose better soy sauce. I don't love the soy sauce, and because I live in Houston, I have access to huge, like there's H Marts, there's Jesco, there's Range 99, like I'm not suffering for a decent grocery store with a decent selection of soy sauce, so I just need to know, like with a discerning eye, what the best ones are. So I'll do some research and find out. So I'm gonna plate this and then I'll say goodnight. So here is my finished product. Voila. The fresh salad that's been dressed, the stir-fried vegetables, and just and shrimp, all over some jasmine rice. Relatively simple in the scheme of things, relatively quick. About to turn off these lights. Migraine's still kicking. A little bit of kombucha, ginger kombucha, and then I may or may not use it, but one of the things in terms of condiments that I'm not really a big condiments person, but I love furikake. And when I was in the Peace Corps, an old friend of mine sent me some, which was a godsend because there's a lot of rice involved in Peace Corps, and I don't necessarily just love rice for rice's sake. And so she sent it to me, and I've been obsessed ever since. So it's been more than 20 years at this point. And so it's got like nori, so like seaweed and sesame seeds. It depends on what kind you get. Sometimes it's got a little piece of egg, sometimes it's got a little piece of shrimp. It just kind of depends, but it's all dried, and it's a great like little topping for rice or potatoes or anything like super simple. One of the things I have done with it before is made bread and then got an avocado and sliced avocado and then put furikake on top of that, and then some cherry tomatoes, and that's a lovely snack. Very delightful. So I'm gonna dig in, turn off these lights. I'm gonna hope that this migraine goes away. I hope you're having something delightful. I'm gonna eat this delightful, and I'll talk to you later.